What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, baby. Yeah, we're doing it again. Yeah, we're bringing DX back. Old school WWE, baby. Lockdown, back in the house, baby. Here we go. You guys aren't going to believe this one. We're getting right into it. I don't have time to mess around. I don't play around. I get the research and I bring it to you guys. Okay, so you think you're safe? You got your nice house, you got your nice little pad, you got your internet. You're not safe, okay? You know why? Because the government in the Homeland Security Committee, the weapons division, has basically said that there are silent weapons that are being continually used against not only intelligence officers and CIA officers and other DOD and State Department individuals, but also the rest of us by proxy of being around these folks. So welcome back. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, some of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. It's all good, baby. We're just going to have some fun tonight. So, you never know when your time's up. I thought I was going to kick it today. I didn't feel good. I felt like shit. I took a nap, woke up, thought I was dying. It's crazy. So, I'm going to have some fun. If you guys want to go for the ride with me, go ahead. So I'm going to bring you a couple of videos, actual statements of our real elected officials, and see what they have to say, the guys that are in the know. So first video, or, well, audio I'll play for you, is Congressman Eli Crane. He is on the Homeland Security Committee. He is a Republican congressman from Arizona, and it is about silent weapons. So this meeting is actually about silent weapons being utilized against America. Homeland Security Committee. Homeland Security, right? This is May 8th, dude. It's May 27th. So by the time you hear this, it'll be tomorrow, Tuesday, May 28th. So this is 20 days ago. Listen to this shit. And then we're going to go to the next video, which will be from West Point, the West Point Academy, which is where the top cadets graduate from for the military. And they had a great speaker, a neuroscientist, that talked about how these projects, these insane machines affect and have been affecting our neurochemistry and our bodies just overall. So have you felt like crap for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Maybe even before COVID, maybe a year before COVID or two. Well, they've had this stuff since the 80s. So if you felt like crap at any point since the 80s, chances are, if you live near some sort of military base, it doesn't matter which one, chances are there were some beams being sent towards those bases, and you might have got inadvertently by proxy hit with them, causing you all kinds of things, from tinnitus, ringing in the ears. You're going to hear those frequencies. They're frequency-based. You're going to have headaches. You're going to have all kinds of stuff. So let's listen to this first one. I want you to hear it, and it's a couple of minutes, and then we'll go to, we'll listen to it, we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll go to the next video. Here's the first one. So this is the representative. He's questioning, the congressman, he's questioning individuals who are in these intelligence offices. So take a listen.
Your assessments here are correct. These are very covert weapons, aren't they? They don't leave behind bomb fragments, bullet holes, etc. They could absolutely be used by our adversaries and have very low levels of, very easy to deny that they were even there, that they were used. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's no entry or exit wound. how they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things, especially on the low duration, the low intensity, long duration hits.
But you were saying that the targets are most often always either CIA, FBI, intelligence, law enforcement individuals. Is that correct?
No, I said diplomats, intelligence community, and Department of Defense make up the lion's share. You often don't hear about the Department of Defense, despite DoD having 5 or 10 times the number of survivors that Department of State has.
Thank you for that correction, sir. And you guys also said that these attacks are happening right here in this city. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Can you expound on that a little bit more?
I mean, there have been some that have gone public with respect to Washington, D.C. The particularly credible ones, and I'm not saying that those are not credible, but the ones that have received the most attention on the inside of the intelligence community are in Northern Virginia, and they are particularly of CIA personnel.
I think it was Mr. Grozev said you spoke to a Russian agent who said that they believe that Americans are using these same weapons on them. Is that correct?
That is correct. Back in the 80s.
Might that have something to do with part of the CIA's motive to cover up the existence of this tech and these weapons?
That is a very logical possibility.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
So, we got a lot of info in a short period of time. I think that if we're looking at that correctly, what the first respondent stated, and let me lower this down here, he stated that they're using low frequency but long duration hits on individuals, basically making them crazy. This has been going on for a long time, especially with Russia and China as well, most likely, right? Because China is our number one enemy right now. It's not Russia, it's actually China, is what a lot of pundits are saying. And it's been going on this whole month during May. So these weapons are hitting the brain, causing the individual to hallucinate, causing the individual to hear things, causing the individual to see things. I remember back in 2019, before COVID hit, I started to get sick. I started to see things in like my peripheral vision. I'm not talking about hallucinations like jaguars jumping out of me or something like that. I'm talking about like lights, you know, weird lights, like flashes of light, almost like when you're feeling like you're going to pass out. And you know, people were saying, oh, it's panic attacks. People were saying, oh, yeah, it's only happening when you're driving. It's this and that. I had MRIs. I had CAT scans done. Brain's fine. So it's either panic attacks or anxiety, or it's some other weird device, possibly from another country, hitting us. And I was in a very populated, very, very well solidified military area. So it wouldn't be that surprising. I think that it's scary because, you know, you think you're going about your life and you're doing the right thing. You're trying to help people out and doing the things that I was doing, you know, working in mental health, working in case management, working in trying to help people survive. And then I think, like I told, you know, I even told my wife, I said, hey, I feel like my brain is just like scrambled. It's like broken. It just feels off. Like I can't like function as well as I could. I feel like I can't drive. I feel like it's just like not working. And I don't feel like it's psychological. I feel like it's biological. And nobody believed me. Doesn't matter. They were just like, here's some medicine. Good luck. They did send me in for the MRI, but that was about it. I feel like we are getting bombarded. I don't know if it's from you know, another country. I don't know if it's from our own Wi-Fi systems. I don't know if it's from our cell phone systems. I've been using cell phones for like 25 years. Okay, so I've been using the internet since it came out. So who the fuck knows? All this stuff could be bombarding our bodies and our nervous systems and totally effing us up. And by the time you've been using it for 25 years, your nerves are shot, your body's shot, you know, and then they're just going to blame it on anxiety. You know what I mean? And there's so many biological systems that could be responsible for that. So I want to bring up this next video because it really kind of breaks down what the hell these systems, these weapon systems can do. And these are just weapon systems. They're not even talking about, like, you know, cell phones. They're not talking about Wi-Fi. They're not talking about all that stuff. So let me bring that up. Hang on. We'll go on a break real quick. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe. So tonight we're talking about silent weapons for quiet wars. This video is comes to us from Modern War Institute from West Point, the United States Military Academy at West Point from September 2018. The speech was given by Dr. James Giordano. He states the brain is the battlefield of the future, and we are in the future war right now. This is 6 years ago, and this is how these weapons are affecting the brain. This guy is one of the top in his field for neuroscience. So listen into this. Check this out.
You will encounter some form of neurocognitive science that has been weaponized not only in your military career, but in your personal and professional lives. It is valid, valuable, and already in operational play. The brain is the current and future battle space. What's new about this is the in-close nature of this. Increasingly, we're not seeing these things as weapons of mass destruction against gross aspects of the population. More specifically, perhaps, might be targeting individuals on a level that allows either direct attribution or covert engagement with non-attribution. If we talk about what brain science is, let me just give you a little bit of brief background on this field that is now called neuroscience. As a titular field, as a named field, neuroscience has only been in existence for 40 years. I know that because I've been a neuroscientist for about 38 of those 40 years. Increasingly, it is becoming an international, multinational, global, and independently exercised event and endeavor, which increases the capability of the brain sciences to develop not only new theories, but ever more sophisticated tools. So, how then can we use these elements as weapons? Means of contending against others. Formal definition of a weapon, probably the one that you've heard about most recently, most contemporaneously in the literature, is the possibility to use some form of directed energy to affect physiology peripherally and also to affect the physiology and health of the brain. Case in point here, U.S. Embassy personnel in Havana and possibly in China.
So he's talking about directed energy weapons, right? We've heard about Havana syndrome. We've heard about, you know, other places where they got hit, like in London. Okay, that's directed energy. Now he's going to talk about others.
Clearly, one of the things we can also do is transcranial neuromodulation, the idea of going through the skull to modulate the node and network activity of the brain, to implant certain brain-machine interfaces. These are many of the DARPA programs that you may hear of now. Probably the one that is most notorious is something called the N3 program, which is the non-invasive neurosurgical neuromodulation program being run by their program manager, Dr. Al Mundy. The idea here is to put minimal-sized electrodes in a network within a brain through only minimal intervention to be able to read and write into the brain function in real time, remotely. And then, of course, you also have the things that are a little bit more traditional. If we talk about things that can be operable in the biochemical space, we ordinarily talk about drugs, bugs, toxins, and ever more, we're considering devices. I can disrupt an individual from the level of their cell to their system, and disrupt individuals on a variety of levels, from individuals all the way up to the social fabric. Target a specific individual, change or eliminate that individual with very little attribution and trace, and be able to leave prior to any attribution. Drugs can be exceedingly specific, and as I'll show you in a moment, can be very, very much used to individualize weaponology in terms of what we call precision pathology or precision effect. And by affecting...
So I'm going to stop him right there. So I did a podcast about a patent that they released that was directly related to the the usage of frequencies through televisions to manipulate individuals' emotions. Okay, that patent was made by the U.S. government. So think about that for a second. Your government made a patent to be able to manipulate the emotions and feelings of individuals through frequencies through the television, and it specifically states it's not talking about like you watching Friends and laughing or you watching a depressing movie and crying. It's all subliminal. You could be watching an episode of Friends and you could be laughing your ass off. But the subliminal portion makes you depressed, makes you cry, makes you think about a difficult time in your life. So while you think you're enjoying yourself on the surface level, the subliminal level is getting bombarded by these negative frequencies. I'm going to let him continue.
The way that brain is built and the way it functions influence in ways that are kinetic and non-kinetic. The attitudes, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, activities. Look at the power that understanding, tools, and techniques the brain sciences afford. We also see the use of biodata as a viable weapon. Manipulating biodata so that I can then put into your particular medical records subtle information that may change the disposition of whether you're sick or not, change how you're treated, influence the postures that go to you in terms of insurance, care, viability for military service. By altering that information, by changing those data, by purloining those data, I essentially change the you of you. And I can do that in very subtle and insidious ways. Furthermore, I can do that on a variety of different levels that can affect key individuals so that in fact your medical record changes to thereby render you incapable or at least invalid to be able to serve in a way you've served. Or I can do that on a much larger scale, groups, populations. And if I change those data, I change the way you're being regarded and treated. And I can do that in one of two ways. I can do it in such a way that you're going to be regarded in a negative sense, or I can do that in such a way that I'm going to treat you incorrectly. If I say, for example, you have a particular allergy or you have a particular disorder, you will be treated for that, and that could then harm your health and your stability.
Now, isn't this interesting? It sounds very similar to MK Ultra. Sounds exactly like what they did to like the Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. That sounds exactly like what they did to a whole bunch of people. You talking about like Manchurian Candidate stuff here. Now, they can basically make you feel any kind of way. Think about this for a second. How easy would it be for them to say, hey, all these people that are putting out these independent paranormal podcasts or anti-alien or alien conspiracy theories podcasts, not anti-alien, but, you know, conspiracy theories or government conspiracy theories or whatever, and just say, hey, we got all their emails, so we know exactly who they are and where they are. Boom, click of the button, bam. We're sending a frequency out directly to their address. That frequency then messes you up. That frequency then makes you tired of shit, makes you feel like shit, makes you feel like you're about to kick the bucket, makes you so tired that you don't want to make any more podcasts. Or maybe they just simply eliminate you with the frequency. Like that. That's how high-tech this stuff is. And keep in mind, this video is 6 years old. You know how much changes in 6 years with the government? You might as well make it 600 years. Let's keep listening here real quick. It's almost over.
The short wars approach as well as a long wars approach. One of the newest developments is that nanoparticulate matter can be stabilized for distribution.
Oh boy.
Now, we're aware what nanoparticulate matter is. It's that matter which exists on a scale of 1 × 10⁹. Very, very small. Smaller than a cell. And we can manufacture materials that have discrete properties that can be controlled by virtue of bioengineering and their physical chemistry. I can create small robotic units, controllable robotic units at the nanoscale, and that these too can be aerosolized to create a nanoswarm of biopenetrable materials that you cannot see, that can penetrate all but the most robust biochemical filters, that are able to integrate themselves through a variety of membranes, mucous membranes, and wherever, mouth, nose, ears, eyes, can be then uptaken into the vascular system to create clumping, can affect the vascular system of the brain, or can directly diffuse into the brain space, and these can be weaponized. And they can be done in such a level that their presence is almost impossible to detect, and as such, the attribution becomes exceedingly difficult to demonstrate. we've come to the precarious position of opening the proverbial can of worms of if, how, in what ways, to what extent, and when these techniques and technologies will be used in weaponized intelligence and national security agenda. Are civilian ethics even viable any longer? And if we engage military ethics, what military ethical principles will we engage?
And that's basically the end of it. And what's interesting is he brought in ethics at the very end. Ethics are a very interesting concept. So I was just watching this other TikTok about a Mr. Edwards, PFC, I believe he was, in the Army. And they had captured not ISIS, but the group that was before ISIS. Not Hezbollah. Oh gosh, what was it? The guys that were controlling a huge swath in Iran. Well, anyway, they captured him, one of the main guys. They captured him, and they said, "Hey, we got this guy. We're going to release him." And this PFC that was on guard duty was like, "What the fuck? You're going to release him?" No, you can't release him. This guy has he's killed dozens of military members of the United States. He's planned and been the head of many other plans. We're not releasing him, or at least, he has no control. But he was the guard on duty. So he became a military criminal, military war criminal. He went into this guy's cell. He got all the other guards off duty, pushed them out, and got these guards off duty. Said, "Hey, go take a bathroom break." He went into the cell and killed this guy. He's not sorry about it. He served 10 years in Leavenworth. He's not sorry about it. So when you're talking about ethics, when you're talking about what they see they need to do, I'm not talking about that guy in particular, but the military in general will do what it sees or believes it needs to do to accomplish a mission. In that case, it was going to be, hey, let's release this guy so we can see where he goes. They wanted to capture more people. That was the idea. This young guy was 20 years old. He said, hell no, we don't want to get rid of this guy. I'm not going to let that happen. He took it upon himself. So, do you think that they are using these silent weapons for quiet wars across the United States? Well, we do have one other whistleblower that came out during the 2023 Disclosure Project with Stephen Greer, who worked down in Antarctica. He talked about how they have neutrino light detectors that are actual weapons that can be weaponized and utilized for whatever they want. So we have yet another whistleblower that's come out and talked about this. So it becomes just falling dominoes. You have, how many whistleblowers does it take until all the dominoes are down? And then the government can still say, there's no dominoes, even though you can see them right in front of you on the table. So you have to start taking into account what you believe, what you see, what you hear, and who you're getting your information from, your sources, and whether or not they're reliable or not. I think that a lot of us can say that we feel strange ever since 2019, probably before 2019, but before COVID kicked in December 31st, 2019. We can say that, we've been feeling strange for a while now, but there's no medical condition for it. All these people have come down with POTS syndrome, which is, post-orthostatic, I think tachycardia syndrome, something like that. Basically, it's a whole slew of symptoms that go on. In 2019, I started to get tinnitus, and it was super loud, super annoying. And that was before COVID. It was like 6 months before COVID. And that in 2019 is when I just had a whole bunch of slew of biological problems, maybe psychological too, just issues going on. And so I feel like a lot of these issues, while they can be natural, they can be, maybe there's a virus going on, maybe we did get something from COVID too, but maybe, just maybe, these silent weapons have been initiated and utilized by other countries. They don't even have to be America against American citizens. They can be totally Russia, totally China, and they can be shooting them over here. The interesting thing is there's been scientists that have come out and stated that they've been picking up these frequencies from Russia since the 80s. And some of them are short, kind of beep, 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 beep. And some of them are really rapid. And they understand, and they've done the studies, that over time, these frequencies and having somebody getting bombarded with these frequencies can really cause cancer. They can cause a detriment to your psychological capabilities, your neurological damage, people with MS, those kinds of things. The other thing that's really interesting too, and I'm going to wrap it up here, is that I just watched another video on TikTok with a guy that had a rad counter, right, radiation, and he had it right next to a microwave. And this thing, your regular microwaves are giving off 5 rads. So if that's the case, and this guy held it right next to it and then pulled back a couple feet and was still shooting out 3 rads, pulled out another couple feet, about 4 or 5 feet, it's still shooting out rads that are still dangerous to the human body. Everybody's using this on a daily basis, man. This is the shit you can protect yourself from. You don't have to use microwaves, man. You can heat the shit up on the stove. There's lots of ways to do it without a microwave, and we're just kind of killing ourselves that way too. It's just something to think about. So anyway, guys, I hope you're having a great night, taking care of yourselves. Do what you got to do to take care of yourselves, man. Toss that microwave out, man. You don't need that shit. Cook it old school style. Do it like our ancestors did. Take care of yourself. Fire ain't gonna kill you. I mean, unless you're jumping in. It's gonna heat it up correctly. It's gonna do things correctly the way it was meant to be. It's not gonna cause chemical changes in your food like a microwave does. Remember, a microwave doesn't heat it up from heat. It heats it up from causing the molecules to gyrate at such a high speed that it heats it that way. So it's not real heat. I don't know, it's kind of sick, man, when you think about it. So anyway, take care of your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. If you didn't listen to that Walmart episode, go back and listen to that. It is fucking weird that Walmart is popping out publications towards kids, letting them know about what happens during an alien abduction. Are they prepping us for aliens coming? Listen to that podcast. Trust me, a lot of people didn't compared to the other ones, but yeah, you should definitely check it out. Anyway, guys, take care. Lockdown Universe out. Peace.